ask him about that. As you all know, it's not as easy as just closing the bank account and opening it up in another bank, but he can better explain the difficulties. We have a contract. It takes 2 years to transfer. There are very few options. The options are probably just as bad as the one that we have. So, but I'll let him more testify. But thank you for coming down and testifying on that. It's very important. Thank you. Our next witnesses are three grade school children. So come on up. We have Sandra, and I don't want to mispronounce her, Ramirez, Jason Robinson, and Elizabeth Rivas, if I have that correctly. And then Mr. Juan Reed, if you're here, to fill our fourth seat. Mr. Reed? No? All right. Well, why don't we just go with the three of you? Because this is great. Do you get a picture? It's a great picture. All right. All right, we'll start out with Sandra. Who's Sandra? Okay. So now make sure your mic is on. So you got to push the button there, and then the thing turns right. There you go. You got it. And then pull it up close so we can hear you. You can't pull it. You just have to. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, perfect. All right, you ready? All right. Off you go.
My name is Sandra Paez Ramirez, and I'm a third grade student at Capital City Public Charter School in Ward 4. In class, we have been learning about history of Native Americans people since the beginning of the year. During this work, we studied the current debate around the Dakota Access Pipeline. We read articles and watched videos to learn about both the perspective of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe and the perspective of Energy Transfer Partners. We ended our study of the Dakota Access Pipeline by each writing a letter to D.C. City Council members, which we hand-delivered to council members in April. In our letters, we expressed our opinions about whether D.C. should give money to banks that fund the pipeline. We are here today representing the rest of third grade and representing our school in order to share our letters with you. Dear council member, imagine if your river was getting a pipeline underneath that you didn't want that's going to carry 400,000 barrels of oil a day to bring to the United States of America. Would you like if the pipeline was being built in a river you get water from and swim in? The answer would be no. You, council member, you should stop giving D.C. money to banks that fund the Dakota Access Pipeline. If the Dakota Access Pipeline gets built, I have a little story to tell. In a few months, you visited the Missouri River. Find a trail of oil footprints and you follow it. When you make it to the river, you find a Lakota person crying because their water has oil in it. You wouldn't like that to happen in your life, would you? Having oil in our rivers, bays, creeks, and lakes would then mean it would affect our oceans, which are connected to rivers and bays, polluted all because of the Dakota Access Pipeline. We should stop supporting the Dakota Access Pipeline. That would make a difference. I would like to tell you something that happened in December in 2016. An oil spill happened from the Dakota Access Pipeline. You know we can't risk our water supply. We just can't. Think about our environment. It could change throughout the year if an oil spill happens. It might even be a nationwide problem if it spreads to other bodies of water. Here's an even bigger problem. When oil and the water mix, that will even be harder to clean up. I'm thinking, and maybe you're thinking, how's the government going to do that? I don't know. I'm a kid. If you do finish the Dakota Access Pipeline, will it really make jobs? The answer is it will only get jobs for Americans, not Native Americans. Sorry to say this. I'm a kid. I'm just a kid telling you that's not fair. If I were the president, I would make things fair, not unfair. That's right. I have more to say. The oil in the water does travel in the rivers all the way to Iowa. I read that farmers in Iowa think it would be a bad idea. They use water from the river, and if the oil comes in it, it might kill their crops and plants growing there. Also, it's so unfair that the oil pipeline was going to be built in a white community, and they didn't want it to be built, so they moved it to the Lakota Sioux tribe in North Dakota. I say it's unfair. You should vote to stop giving money to banks that support the Dakota Access Pipeline. I know you might be thinking, this kid is wrong, build it. It will make us independent from other countries' oil. Well, maybe it will, but what if people learn how we got our oil by polluting Lakota land? Child that thought you were good people wouldn't think so anymore. I learned about the Lakota for 2.5 months, so I know a lot about them. As you can see, I believe the Dakota Access Pipeline should stop being built. If we don't make a move, we'll destroy our nature. Stop giving money to the pipeline. I'm 9 years old and I know right from wrong. I'm here telling you how concerned I am about the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. With concern, Sandra, 3rd grade, Capital City, PCS.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Very well done. All right. Jason Robinson, welcome. Now pull the turn on the mic, and then pull it down a little bit so that they can. There, much better. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Dear council member, imagine if you saw one dead fish and then you look again. You are worried. The next time you saw a sick deer with a blackened tongue, but no scars. But why? The deer is sick from drinking polluted water. This is what happens when you lose pipeline protests. This is bogus because the government has no reason to do this. Don't give money to banks that fund the Dakota Access Pipeline. My first reason is DAPL goes through sacred land for the Lakota. It also gives money to other companies, not the Lakota. It can also pollute water if it leaks. Lastly, protesters are not doing this for attention. They do it because they care. The government, Donald Trump, FBI, and cops, and lots of people vote for the pipeline. But if people tell me to vote for the pipeline, if I could, I will definitely not. And I know this as a 9-year-old, but I did research, lots of research. Do not give money to banks that fund the Dakota Access Pipeline. Sincerely, Jason, 3rd grade, Capital City PCS.
Very good. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, Elizabeth. And pull the mic down. There we go. Yeah, perfect.
Dear Council Member, after reading many articles, I believe that you should vote not to fund the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline. First, the pipeline will pollute the water, air, and land, which the Standing Rock Sioux people depend on. It is bad because destroying other people's land is unjust. Would you want your land destroyed? I wouldn't, of course. Also, the pipeline could damage ancestral sites, which are important to the Sioux people. That is their land, not the ETP's land. Additionally, the ETP claimed to follow all the laws, but actually the ETP didn't follow one law, which is the National Historic Preservation Act. I am a little girl who stands for justice and says enough is enough. Stop funding the pipeline now. Since yours truly, Elizabeth.
Very good. Thank you. So I want to tell you, I think it's so important that our students participate in our democracy that we have here. So I want to thank all of you because it is always hard to come down and talk in front of a whole group of people, and you're on TV and everything. So thank you very much for coming down to testify. I congratulate all of you. I'm the father of 3 children myself. I have triplets, 2 girls and a boy. So when I look at the 3 of you, I think, good, my children. And that they're now 20 years old, but at the time they were in 3rd grade, and they did exactly what you're doing now. So keep up the good work. Keep participating in this democracy that we have here in our city here. And so tell me, let me ask, I'll start out with Sandra. So is your class doing a study of this? Is that what they're doing now?
We just ended it, but
You just
we
ended
were
it.
studying it.
Okay, and was it a semester-long study of the pipeline?
It was just for like 2 months.
About 2 months, okay. And everybody in your class participated in studying it?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. And did you have to write papers on it and the letters? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, great, great. And so, how was your experience? Did you have a good experience with it?
Yeah.
Okay. And how about you, Jason? Same thing? And did you enjoy studying it? Did you enjoy studying it?
Yes, sir.
Did you learn a lot from it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great, great. And Elizabeth, you too?
Yeah.
Great. Well, again, thank you all for coming down to testify. You did a great job today. Okay? Okay.